Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the podcast show, Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things. I have 5 people on the show with me today. I am so excited for this panel. I like to do part of the series called Connected Conversations, where I bring people on to discuss a particular topic. So today is all about, let's talk about modern dating. I have my co-host that I had last time, Patty and Sonja. Leah's not here today. Janelle is filling in. And then we have 2 men on our team today. We have Jose and John as well. So I am so excited to have everybody on the show today. And I do want to say, when we're kind of talking about dating, one of the things that I wanted to do is to bring on more mature adults. So these are people from 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. So we're not talking about kind of right out of college, a little bit older, which I think is really important to talk about. We have a very mixed background here, but we all are in New Jersey, which I think is kind of special as well. So I want to start the conversation with, all of us dated before online dating, before this kind of became a thing, before social media. And then all of us have somehow kind of integrated with online or social media now as an older adult. So I'm curious, if you have any thoughts, like what did it used to be like dating? And how has it kind of changed, do you think, as a whole, as an overview with the online stuff? Does anyone want to start with this? You'll start. Janelle, go ahead. Janelle, you start. So I'm curious, again, what did you think how dating used to be versus how it is now?
I'm going to compare how online dating used to be. So I'm going to date myself here. Tad bit. I used online dating when the technology didn't allow for you to post pictures. All there was like Yahoo personals, and you had to send a message, and you actually had to put effort into communicating with anyone that you kind of had some sort of interest. And it's funny, that's actually how I'm divorced now, but it's how I met my ex-husband. So when I met him, it was a blind date because you couldn't share pictures. Now today, it's this endless swiping. And there doesn't seem to be as much of an effort. So, it's like, hi. Okay, I guess that it was nice meeting you. So it's a little bit of a challenge.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I did not do online dating until the last few years, so I don't have that experience. But thinking about dating before, where you would meet at a party or through a friend, and that was really kind of how you met people, and kind of you had seen them in person, so you kind of had some context of who they were. Whereas now online, you don't, and like you said, there's just pictures. John, what are your thoughts on this?
So I think growing up, and the movies I watched, I thought it was always cool to have those nerves in you when you want to go and talk to a girl. You see her sitting 2 rows behind you in math class or at the dance finally, and your buddies are, come on, go talk to her, but you're kind of shy, but then you get a little more matured, you feel confident, and then you go and attempt it. And you get shut down, strike 1, strike 2. But we learned as we went, and then when high school came, you got that confidence a little better. And you got to see and speak to the person that you want to talk to. You already saw what they look like, from visually seeing it in person. And then one day, oh, hi, she says hi back. And then you're like, oh my God, wait, you said hi. Okay, now I got to get back into it and ask another follow-up question. But when as time went on, like I was married and I am divorced too, but I met my ex sitting at the other end of the bar, and I walked up and said hello. And she said hi back, and we got into talking, and, we got married. Didn't last so long. But the online dating, I feel you can filter many things out, but you still can't get that true connection. And the one thing for me, when I got accepted from a girl who responded back, I would always ask, can I give you a call? Nowadays, it seems kind of weird. Some girls might be a little shy about that, but I just don't want to text. I want to talk to you. And one girl I did, she's like, wow, I can't believe you asked for my number and want to talk. That's very rare. Well, I'm a rare kind of guy. So You find the best of both worlds.
John, after you just said that, I just realized that all of us actually all have been married once before as well. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit to kind of add to this. Yes, I agree. It's funny because I remember being a kid and like watching those high school movies. I was born in the 80s. So like those 90s movies of like, She's All That, or like any of those, like you said, like, yeah. And you were like, oh, is that what high school's going to be like? Is that what it's going to be like? And then it really wasn't that way either. But like you said, it was kind of, you would focus on one person, which is really interesting. Patty, I'm curious, what are your thoughts, when you think of kind of how it used to be, maybe how it is now? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think similar to others. So my first husband actually was somebody who a friend connected me with, knew the family kind of growing up. So, there was like that neighbor kind of went to the same school, but didn't know each other in high school, but that kind of connection. And then my second husband was actually through work. So it was another where kind of knew people who knew people and, made connections that way. So for me, the online's been probably the years or so, and I've been off and on with it. So have had some other relationships again through friends or connections. So, I'm trying to figure some of the online stuff out still.
Yes.
So I would appreciate from John and Jose kind of what, like John, you said, I think having a conversation with somebody is so important, but maybe that's not quite like you say, people are just looking for that texting kind of thing to get.
They'd rather text, not talk.
Yeah, and I've had some good experiences, some funny experiences, and some weird experiences with the online dating.
Haven't we all?
So I haven't been up on it, but I will say I've taken a break, particularly the last 10 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonja, what are your thoughts here? I know you and I've talked a lot personally about this online dating.
Well, I mean, like John said, I met my ex-boyfriend. I was at a bar, sitting at the bar. I think it was my birthday weekend or something. And back then, if somebody liked you or found you attractive, the bartender would come over and say, this drink is from that gentleman at the end of the bar. And then they'd wave and smile. And if you like them, if there was a mutual attraction, they'd come over and say hello, and you'd start to converse, and they'd ask you for your number, and they'd call you, and you go out on a date. And that's the way it worked, With online dating, like John said, there's a lot of filters. People are not always honest. They'll post pictures of themselves from 10 years ago, or they'll say, and not that I have anything against height, but they'll lie about their height. They'll say they're 5'7" and they're like 5'2", so it's different, and like John said, you need to make that connection when you meet somebody, and that's pretty instantaneous when you see somebody for the first time. If there's a mutual attraction, it's pretty much instantaneous, and you don't have that with online dating, and again, they want to text, they don't want to talk, and I don't know why that is, but I think because you're dealing with so many different personalities on online dating, and everybody has a different agenda. Some people are looking to meet the love of their life, some people are just looking for casual dating, so
yeah. I think that's a good point. I think, like you said, you're not necessarily sure what somebody is looking for. Jose, what are your thoughts on this? I know you had said that.
I have a list here.
Jose's got a list. Jose, yeah, I know, Jose, when I asked you to be on here, you were like, you haven't done a whole lot of the online dating. So, I'm curious again, do you kind of share some of these experiences of how dating kind of used to be, or you think that that's still kind of happening, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna start with saying that in my, I coming from different culture in my country, right? From in the whole South America, we are living around a lot of people, right? Like a social dancing, right? Mm-hmm. But every day, every week, weekend, weekdays, every time you see people, you met people, and you are familiar with all your friends. So I am agree with Sonia that you have to, I mean, you start feeling the connection. And then, for example, in my country, you feeling the connection. And then when you already feel that connection, you start dating. And then, but you dating with a purpose, right? To try to build that relationship. And then you can see things that you don't like it. You can see things that you like it. So if you don't dance, so you go far away, right? So yeah, but because with when you are mature, you already realize that it's good to share things that you have a passion. Because imagine, you don't dance, and imagine that my new dating don't dance, and we go to the social and say, listen, 1 second, I'm gonna dance with Carrie, okay? She's fantastic dancing. It's not good, right? It's this stars. I don't think that's gonna work. So it's good to share kind of same passions, no? Also, every people have the different objectives on life, but sharing kind of that things is good. So when I coming here, it's a different culture. So I already hear that Sonia said, the people like to text. I don't like to text because first, my English is not 100%, so it's very difficult to say the thing that I try to say in English. But also, when you read something, maybe you can understand it different than what I want to say. So I like to call, but I realize that the people here don't call, usually call. So for example, I call you now to say, hey, Carrie, this is happening. So I like to call. I like to try to explain to you what is my feelings, or what is the real word that I want to put in the message that I want you hear. All right. So when I go to the to talking about online, the first time that I try it, I go to the is socks, something like that, and I started curious, and then put a name. Oh, should I put my name? Okay, I'm gonna put my name. Put the email. Oh, should I put my email? Okay, I put it, and then a lot of people try to connect with me, and then when I realized that a lot of people want to connect, they said, okay, if you want to read what they said, you have to pay $19 a month. Oh, forget about that. No, I don't want that. All right. So I come back, and then I can say that I'm not agree with the dating online, because a lot of people met and then now they are married and they have a very nice love story, right? So, but for me, I need the connection first. I need to see you in person first, and now with 51 years old, I think I am waiting to see if you are be able to be with me or not.
Yeah, I just want to share here too. Nisha says, very true. Watching chick flicks growing up gives young girls the idea of a fairy tale romance, so online dating takes away from that. Yes, I definitely agree. It's interesting as we're all kind of like sitting here talking about it. Every single one of us is like, we prefer to talk on the phone. And I can't imagine that there aren't a lot of people out there that are like, yes, I want to do that too. I'm curious, Sonia, you kind of talked a little bit about how you said people want to text, maybe because maybe they're talking to multiple different people, or they feel insecure. Like, do any of you have any thoughts as to why people prefer texting? Because we're talking, again, we have our age range is not in 20s. We're talking about 30 to 60 something. So even in this age range, you're seeing people that prefer text. Anyone have any thoughts as to why they think that is?
Shy, inarticulate.
I think we're all being brought up into today's society where we're always texting, or even on any apps that we have, where it's WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. We'd rather take 20 minutes to give a 5-minute conversation by texting, and we adapted to it. So we just got to ring ourselves back and change the tables a little bit,
Yeah, I agree. I actually hate texting. I can only do it for a certain period of time, and then I can't handle it because I'm like, I can just say this easier and faster talking. So It just makes a lot more sense. I want to go into a little bit about you guys. We've all kind of done online dating in some capacity. And I'm curious because, and actually Lee, who's not on today, was like, we have to bring men on because I want to hear. So we'll start with the women first and we'll have the men, whether it's in person or online. What makes a man attractive or unattractive when you first are looking at something on Jose, when you first are looking at their profile online, or if you're not doing online, when you see them in person? Janelle, do you want to start? Any thoughts?
Laundry list. Let's start with the pictures you put online. If the first picture does not grab my attention, next. And by that, I know it sounds like, really? Yeah, actually it does, because you're putting yourself out there. So why not try to put the best version of yourself that you can? I tend to swipe left if I just see a fishing picture as the first picture. I think everybody, especially in New Jersey or the East Coast, everybody's fishing. Okay, I guess next. Or, the picture where the camera angle is so low, all I'm seeing is 60% nostril and 40% face. I'm like, that's just such a next, and so it may seem like it's not that important, but I'd like to see your face. I take the time on my profile to take a picture that's clear, that's well lit, that shows a little bit of my personality. You can see my smile. If it's the group pictures, oh my God, I swear, you'll see, this is me with my friends. And it's like, well, which one are you? Because I haven't met you or your friends. And so it's like, where's Waldo? Like, it shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be work. So let's say we get past the picture. Okay, the picture is great. And then you scroll through the profile, and then the profile starts talking about everything you don't want in a woman. Next.
I love the honesty, Janelle.
I'm just like, there are so many filters that, like, before I could even, like, it's to see someone speaking about, you better have your business in order, or, speaking negatively about women reflects poorly on who you are as a person. You're not trying to attract in what you want. You're telling the world everything that you hate about women. And so that's a definite turnoff. Next. So, it's just really tough. And of course, there's always the chance of being catfished, where you see someone who just looks absolutely amazing. The picture is great. They write a profile. And I think was it Sonja, right, that mentioned, I don't have a problem with height. I'm going to lie. I do not have a problem with height if you're shorter. I have a problem about someone lying about their height. It's the being dishonest that is unattractive, as opposed to the fact that you're shorter than I am. Because if you're going to lie about your height, it shows insecurity, and then it makes me wonder, if you're so comfortable lying about that, what else are you lying about? And so I think if men kind of understand that that's how many women view the height thing, that is really what we're looking at. Whatever you are. Your height is your height. Your weight is your weight. The way you speak is the way you speak. But own it and be confident, and that's really what's attractive. It's the confidence in who you are. It doesn't matter. Like, we're older. I get it. You're going to be balding. You're going to have thin hair. You're going to probably have a bit of a stomach. It's okay. It's okay. Just not grossly, morbidly, like that you don't take care of yourself. But nobody's perfect. I got kids. My boobs aren't perky anymore, and I got like tiger's marks. So what? So I'm expecting that you're gonna like that, because I get it. I'm not 20 anymore, but own it. I own it. Like, that's me. That's who I am. Take it or leave it. Like,
yes. And that's why I'm so glad Janelle could come on this show. I was like, Janelle is such a genuine person, and so herself. I agree. It's funny because I think, again, it's about confidence. I think you do have to have a good picture, but a good picture is like, does it look clear? You know what I mean? Is it like far enough back that I can see what you look like? Because everybody's going to be attracted to different things. I had a picture, actually, when I first started doing online dating years ago. I had a group pic. It was me and a friend. And I was like, oh, clearly, like, I'm in every other picture. It's the one group picture I have. So obviously I'm the one on the left or whatever. And somebody messaged me and was like, hey, your friend's really hot. Can you hook me up with her? And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, all right. Nick, that was awkward. So like, stuff like that. I was like, I was like, do I tell her? I was like, this is very weird. So you do have stuff like that, so you I learned my own lesson early on. But I think also, like you said, for me, I'm very big on grammar, but then like you talk about, like Jose says, if English isn't your first language, sometimes you're not doing it on purpose. But there are people that you assume maybe are American or speak English, and it's just like not spelled right. Or like you said, there's like a lot of negativity. I actually used to spend a lot of time on the written more than the visual. So it's interesting, like that, what's kind of important there as well. Sonja, I know you got thoughts on this too, and then we'll let the men kind of come in here and redeem themselves and tell them about us as well. So Sonja,
I like Janelle said. I mean, that picture, that first picture. I mean, that's the first thing you see on online dating is the picture. The profile is second. So if the picture is blurry, if the picture looks old, like it was taken 20 years ago, these are all turn-offs to me immediately. Bad teeth, or every picture not showing your teeth. I mean, I have a thing about teeth, as Carrie knows.
Again, the honesty here.
We all have our preferences. So so it's the picture, but then like, so once you get past the piece, you see a picture, you like it, you find someone fairly attractive. Okay. So now you get to the profile. There are so many people that will write a list of, well, if you're a cheater, please, swipe to the left. So what is that saying? This person is scarred from the last relationship, and they're putting that right out there. If you're a liar, don't contact me. This is actually what people say, and it just right away gives off a very negative impression. So it's next, those are complete turnoffs to me. Again, the picture with the fish. And I don't know. I don't know. That might be a Jersey Shore thing. I don't know. I'm from New York, but it just seems like every man out here has one picture holding a fish. I mean, I don't. Does everybody fish out here? I don't know. But So the fish picture is kind of a turn off unless you're a professional fisherman or something. There's no reason for that. What about What about the 20 pictures of a sunset? Or pictures of their dog. It's a dating site. I want to see what you look like, or, average body type, and every picture is from the neck up. You want to see a full length shot, of the person.
Yeah, I think, again, we're getting the, honesty is really the best policy here. Patty, I know you said you're not currently in the online dating world, but any thoughts here for you?
Well, I think just to echo, I mean, in terms of the list of the pictures, if you have, the picture is with a baseball cap on backwards.
Jose showing his phone. I just want to say, side note, that hold on, we're losing Patty. Go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, they take the picture in the mirror in the bathroom with no
mirror in the bathroom. Yeah, that's.
You can figure out how to do a selfie. I mean, so and I guess too, being the older of the group here, for me also looking not just on some of the negative, but also kind of like, do you have a life? Or are you just looking for someone to be with you every minute to take care of you versus I have these interests and this is what I'm doing. I have a group of friends, I have my family, To me, in terms of the profile, those are the things that I look for. What are your interests? Are you active? Are you involved in your community or with your family or with your friends or whatever? So.
Yeah, no, and as you were talking, Jose was showing his picture, which, by the way, Jose was like, hey, can you use this one? In case any of the single ladies for me, I was like, yes, Jose, I love it.
I'm wearing a baseball cap. Nice picture, Jose.
It is. Okay, John, I know you're sitting there like, okay, you heard the four of us women. And I know you and I have talked about this before, and you've talked about some things that you don't like. So from the man side, what are kind of things that you see women post that you're like, you know what, we're over it?
It's definitely every picture has an animal. I get it. You like cats, you like a dog. every picture when with the group picture. Sometimes it's just groups of girls, and maybe they're just putting themselves out there, and they want you to talk to them first and hit them up, and then they'll tell you who's where I am, left, right, center, wherever. I guess, my thing is when girls do put things out on their profile or picture, and when you read the profile and you meet a lot of the criteria and you swipe right, like, or you say hello, and then you get criticized for saying hello. You're just gonna say hello, or do an open-ended question, and all these different things that you could hear. But you think you have a match, and then 24 hours go by and Bumble, straight, you're out. Wow, okay. I think with the pictures, I like to say, people could say that they like to do a lot of things, like surf and dance and this, that. But maybe it's also for me when I saw a girl likes to dance and we met and we're talking. Oh, I don't really dance. I just like to jump around. Like, now for me, I guess you put a picture with your profile. So I like to surf. There's the surfing picture that shows I'm active. Yeah, I'm not purposely doing a shirtless picture, so I'll try to find my rash guard on, so I'm not one of those guys that's taking a selfie with no shirt on. I like to dance. I'll put a picture of the dancing or the ballroom thing. I like to go snowboarding. I'll integrate a picture with the things I like to do to show like I'm legit. And maybe that's why guys like to fish, because maybe they're not to cover for them or stand up for them. It shows they're outgoing. They like to be out on the water. But yes, it's striper season right now, so everybody's.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. But for the girls though, I definitely the picture of, if I'm looking and I see the initial attraction is right there. The first thing you see is a picture. I glance down a little bit. I see some things I like, and even if I don't like to judge a book by the cover. I see that, but let me read more about it. This sounds like a great person, and the picture doesn't say everything, so I like to give things a chance. Sometimes it was like, I call my sister, I'm like, you got to call me like 20 minutes or something, because this is just, it happened again, Jack, But, and it's like, I'm never doing this again. And real quick with the profiles, after nothing happened with the profile, I bring it to my girlfriend. Hey, what should I write on this? And this girlfriend will write this. No, take that out, do this. And then this one, it's a gamble. Put the profile out there, and if it doesn't work, try it again, and you don't know. But at least when you talk to somebody, hi, how are you? You having a good time tonight? I'm John, and this and that. And then you're rolling with the conversation, and you're going to get an answer back right away. You're not going to wait, because bad service, no Wi-Fi, or you're just going to get it right away. So.
Yeah, I think before I have Jose talk here, I think what there is a little bit more pressure on the guys in some way is that women are expecting these men to maybe only talk to them or really, create these great conversations. And as Sonja mentioned earlier, people are shy or they're hurt. How many people have gone on dates or been rejected that they're just like exhausted? I think we've all felt that. So I think it's, I agree, it's like, okay, sometimes hello, they're just like, I don't know what else to say. Sometimes it's easier for someone to start it and then it's fine. So I think that's a good point as well. Jose, any thoughts here of, based on what we said about the guys, but also that you think like that women that you think is like, oh, that's an attractive thing about a woman, or something that you're like, oh, I really don't like that some girls tried to do this, as John talked about?
So, well, if I saw a picture of the profile, but we are talking about the dating site, right?
Yeah, either on like an online dating site, or I know you said like you are not doing so much online dating right now.
Yeah, if I saw a picture on Facebook, for example, my Facebook picture is this one. So for all the girls means that I'm not looking for a relationship. I just showing what I am doing now, right? Mm-hmm. Working with the kids, and that's what I am doing, and that's what I enjoy to do it. So, but when I saw, I know now it's a lot of filters, so the girls use it. So what you see in the picture is like the other side of the face. So when you saw in person, it's like, wait a minute, where's the face that I saw in the with a lot of filters. You can do this a little bit skinny, you can do this, you can do that, you can put, so, and this is a no good start, right? Because you are showing something fake, so you are not showing yourself. And also, it's very incredible how it's wonderful all the people we are different, right? For example, I was listening, I don't remember, Joanne. She said that the lady who was talking before, she said, okay, see, if you want that, okay, next, right?
Oh, Janelle. Yeah. I thought you meant someone else we know. Yeah.
That's her personality,
Yes.
right? This is incredible how all the people are different, all right? So it's amazing that you are like that. That's your personality, and I respect that. So, but we are different. So, for example, for me, I would like to dating with somebody without think that we are dating. I don't know if you understand me, but maybe not. So I would like to dating with someone without thinking that we are really dating, because when you know somebody, everybody's different. So maybe you have something inside for that person that you didn't have it for your last girlfriend or wife, right? I was a person with my ex-wife, and she take it out from me something, right, from inside to me for her, and probably another person take it out different things that I didn't know that I have it. So for me it's very important to dating without dating.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is like because you talked about getting to know people in person, where it's kind of more organic. You're not kind of going on a bunch of dates. You're kind of like, oh, I want to get to know this person more, and then it kind of happens more in a natural way.
Exactly, because when you're talking, right? When you're talking or texting, I can tell you, Carrie, just in case, I like dancing, I do body rolls, right? So, we can dance and everything, right? So, but maybe when we're dating, right? Maybe I can do something that you like better from me, right? So we don't know yet. So the same for you. Maybe I take it out from you something special that you even know that you have it still until that person take it out from you. So this is for me. This is a big difference in between the online or dating in that way to just go in person and start know each other.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, one thing that kind of binds us all together, we've all been married and divorced. And I was very against online dating. I was like, ugh, I hate it. I was the same way. I was like, I only want to meet people in person. And I was going through therapy when I was, after I gotten divorced. And the lady was like, I think you're ready to kind of start dating. And we were talking, and she said, what activities do you do? I was like, well, dance, which is mostly girls, except for these couple guys and a couple other guys. And we'd always love more men and dance. And then I worked from home. And she said, well, how do you expect to meet people if most of the activities you do are with women and you work from home? And she goes, that is the plus side to online dating, that you may meet people that you wouldn't otherwise. And so with that logic, I was like, okay. I was like, I'll try it. And I went on everything. And just like most people went on and off. I am dating someone now who I did meet online. So strangely enough, she was right that I guess it did work. But I think, I think that's the positives to it. I mean, do any of you feel like that's a positive as well, especially having been married before? It's a different playing field than when you weren't.
You're always in the game while you're online.
Yeah, but well, don't take me wrong that I am not agree with the online dating, but also that's gonna be a good start, right? Because now, for example, how you said you are working from home, and where are you gonna find people? Where? In Wawa, where are you gonna find?
You could find someone in Wawa.
I know, but so I usually go to the soccer fields every day, most of the time there. So where can I find a girl? So probably dating online, you can start. You can do a good start with somebody who like you or you like her, and then we start know each other, and then from there we can talking.
Yeah, I will say on a side note too, I go
Wawa. I want to put my picture on Wawa.
Well, and Sonja knows this because we were talking to our mutual friend Cindy, and I was joking with her when I was in the dating part, and I said to her, I was like, I just would feel more comfortable like meeting in my everyday life. I said, but when I go to the grocery store, I'm not in that mode. I'm like wearing sweatpants and I'm just picking up food. Like I'm just not in that space, but that's a really good place, as we're joking. And she was like, well, just, go to the eggs and just go to somebody like, oh, which type of egg should I buy? I was like, I can't do that. I was like, I feel ridiculous. I was like,
That'll be great.
well, but John, that's your personality. That would be. I was like, unless I make a joke out of this, I was like, but I think it's interesting, as we were talking about earlier, that why people text, right? It's safer. If you reject me, then it's just a text, versus a phone call or in person. And I think that's maybe why people feel safer about it. I'm not really sure, but I'm curious, have any of you in your dating experience in the more recent years, have you met someone in person from something like that, a grocery store or kind of the older school stuff that we talked about? Has anyone had a good experience? I mean, not during COVID in the last year, but no?
What do you mean, to dating with somebody?
Yeah,
with
I'm
a
saying
woman?
again, not this year with COVID, but anything before that. So in the last 10 years, kind of, I guess that's when kind of online dating started. Has anybody met someone in person, or have most of the dates been from something online?
Oh, yeah, I've met a couple of people in person, mutual friends or friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think as for in the summertime, for me down here being back in Jersey, it was a lot easier since I did have a group of friends, a posse I rolled with, and since you're with a group and then you see somebody, you could walk over and they're with the group and you could call them out, and it was good. Sometimes the girl was nice, was excited to be singled out of the other group of friends she was with, that you came to her and you're able to talk, and if it just doesn't roll, you can roll back on. And like I tell all my younger shipmates, I will never make fun of you. I'll make fun of you if you don't go and try. Like everybody's like, oh, how you got rejected, ha ha ha. And that's what for a guy, like at least me growing up, like you don't want that feeling. I swore a long time ago I would never do that. I'll give you more credit and I encourage you to do it. And if the girl says no, okay, she says no, good, no problem. But yeah, I think being out in public, I've done it. I since I'm very open to doing it. It's worked out. But majority of the time you catch yourself online more often than you think.
Yeah, and I want to bring another point here that Janelle kind of started with, and then we all kind of talked about. I work in branding and marketing, and one of the things that I noticed about online was like, this is your brand. Like you're showcasing your brand. And like Janelle said, you're like, is this your best self? Like, is this the best you can do? Like this, it has to be better. You know what I mean? And so I'm curious, how do you kind of, whether it's online or in person, how do you try to showcase your best self in general, or, in a kind of an online or a dating type of way? Does anybody have like any things that they find that has worked or would like to try? Does anybody have any thoughts? Janelle, I'll start with you. Because again, you're so genuine and so yourself. And she's awesome on TikTok, by the way. You guys have to check her out on TikTok too.
I don't know. I think I have this problem. Like I do my shopping at Costco, so I don't think single men go there.
I'm gonna start going tomorrow.
I don't know. There you go. Maybe that's what you should put on your online profile. I hang out at Costco, so hit me up. I mean, Jose's ready to go, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like so tired. I don't know. I haven't found out what works. I really haven't. And I think part of it might be feeling so exhausted from the process.
I'm going tomorrow.
See, single guy who shops at Costco.
It doesn't come with that 7-year guarantee. Like, Costco's like anything you get from there, you can return in 7 years.
Well, I think so. Here's what I'm saying. I think so here's an example. Before, because I'm going to tell you part of how I met my current boyfriend, because I was fully myself. So when I was doing the online dating, I tried multiple different things to say. I tried, okay, here's exactly what I want. Okay, here's my interest. Here's whatever. And then at one point I put that I was divorced. And then another point I was like, I'm not going to put that. And some people were like, you should put that. Like that matters. And I was like, but does it? Like, I don't have a child. I feel like if I had a child, like I would talk about that, but I don't necessarily think being divorced has to be something. Cause I was like, if I put that, that feels kind of negative, and I don't really feel like that was a part of me, but it doesn't mean like I'm stuck in it. You know what I mean? So I remember too, I think most of you know, but I don't drink. I just don't. It's just not something I do. And I remember a good friend of mine was like, you're going to have a hard time finding somebody that doesn't drink, because most people do. And I was like, there has to be, I can't be the only person. So I put on, when I was on one of the dating profiles, this is how I met my boyfriend. I was so fed up. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm over it. Like everyone else, I need a break. COVID hit, and I was still on one of the apps that I didn't realize. And I was like, whatever, it's COVID. Who cares? And I was like, you know what? I'm putting exactly who I am. I was like, I don't drink. This is why. I love to dance. This is why. And like, just was like, you know what? Whatever. And I met him, and he doesn't drink either. He's an athlete. And he's like, actually, I thought that was really attractive, because that's something that's important to me. And I was like, huh. I was like, here I was the whole time thinking like, oh, I shouldn't put that. And yet here's this person that was important to them too. And when you're doing this dating stuff, you only need to meet one. You know, like, yeah, you're trying to find the person, but you're only trying to find really one that works. So that was kind of an experience for me personally of like trying to adjust, and then finally just saying, I'm just going to put out who I am, for better or worse, and just see, like Janelle said, who's attracted to that or who isn't. Because if somebody is really into drinking and that's part of their lifestyle, that's totally fine, but that wouldn't fit me. So have any of you had that where you kind of adjusted, or usually it happens at a frustration point, but I'm curious.
I adjusted by dialing myself down, to be honest. You know? Unfortunately, with all the things that I do like to do, I call myself not doing them, not going snowboarding, not dancing as much as I wanted to, because I got things from that. So it was like the reversal for me. So I went and edited my profile and kept everything quiet and said, you know what? But then I'm not being me. But then, so I've been a seesaw back and forth with it. So, but as you said, you like to put yourself out there, put those pictures, show them what you love to do. It's a gamble. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
And not everybody's online, obviously. And there are, you know, I will say I never had a terrible experience. I had some funny stuff, but I never had I feel very grateful I never had anyone that was harassing or anything like that. Did anybody have that at all, or no? A pretty good experience?
No.
That's pretty good then. That's not bad at all. So then the other thing is like, okay, we started talking about how we communicate ourselves, but then I'm fascinated by how do we communicate with each other? John kind of mentioned earlier, so many people want to be, again, texting one another, but really having phone conversations really gets to know someone. And I was the same way. I'd have a couple texts and then say, let's do a phone call, because I wasn't going to meet anyone I hadn't spoken to on the phone. And then you kind of know, like, can I have a conversation with this person? How is it? And I'm curious, have any of you kind of put that out? How have the phone conversations been that you've done? Sonja, have you done any phone conversations?
Oh, yeah, I've had a few conversations, yeah. And, you know, some have been very good, very nice. And then others, it's like pulling teeth, you know, to get a conversation going. You know, there's some people that just don't know how to converse. They just haven't mastered the art of conversation. And then I've had other conversations that were very good, and then, you know, you never hear from the person again. Or I lost my train of thought. I've talked to one person who called me like 12 times, you know, in one day, because, you know, or I've talked to someone and I just hated their voice. You know, I don't know, you guys are probably going to think I'm really shallow with all my requirements, but, you know, to me, voices are important too. I don't know. I think that's part of a person's personality. If I don't like someone's voice, it's kind of a turn off to me. So conversation, and, you know, you can learn a lot about a person in a phone conversation, more so than texting, you know, unless you want to text for 3 hours, you know.
What kind of voice you like it, Sonja?
Jose is working it to his advantage tonight. I like it.
It really is. I mean, you know, that's just a personal preference. I like a masculine voice. Like a DJ. Masculine voice, like a DJ, or, you know, someone who's articulate, someone who doesn't use constantly cursing or double negatives, or, you know, like Carrie said, she she looks for the grammar in when someone's written profile. If it's not grammatically correct, that's a problem for you. If someone can't speak properly or hold an intelligent conversation with me, it's a turnoff. And then then there's the whole let's converse about politics, or religion or
bigger topics.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you guys know I do this for a living. I'm interviewing, talking to people all the time. I love asking questions. I'm a very curious person, so I don't have a problem on that end. But one of the things that I would run into is the other person wouldn't ask questions. And I'm curious if you have this, because women have talked about this a lot, where they'll go on dates and say, so whether it's on the phone or they go on a date, and they'll say, the man didn't even ask me a question. Like they just sat there and talked about themselves. I've had that experience, and I had a couple times where I was like, okay, well, maybe it's me because I interview for a living. Let me change it up. Like, let me give a question and or kind of say, hey, do you have questions for me? Or I would try to interject, and it would always go back to that person. And that's a turnoff, because it's like it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's just you want someone who's going to connect with you and care. And I've heard a lot of women talk about that. Men, do you have experience? I assume, do you have a similar experience with women, or what are your thoughts on that? John, do you have any?
My grandfather told me something really smart a long time ago when I was in high school. When you start talking to a girl and you're chatting with her, if you're talking about something you've done, then throw it back. Do you play any sports? I go to the beach often with my family, vacation. Where do you go on vacation? So whatever you say, just bring it back the other way. So it stops you from just talking about yourself. And as you said, it engages her. It shows that you're engaging to her. And so you could have a conversation going both ways.
Yeah. Patty, any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I agree. And I guess I was kind of going back a little bit, though, to something, Carrie, you had said about there's only one, or you need one, and I don't know whether, to me, part of the online dating is also trying to get a sense from people just what they are looking for. Is somebody looking for a, off the bat, relationship, or is it more like Jose was saying, just wanting to get to know somebody and not be like dating on the first time you go and you meet them, that you're not dating. It's just a different form of getting, an access or a way to meet somebody. And that person may end up being, maybe it ends up being a friend, but I always have that troubles of, what people are looking for and whether we're kind of thinking, because to me, it's not, I'm not looking right off the bat necessarily for, okay, this is the one for the rest of my, life. It's more like just, could just be somebody to do some things with. So.
Yeah. And I know you and I had talked about that offline as well. I think you're right. I guess when I say the one, it doesn't mean like the one for life. I think it's just like the one. I guess for me, I'm not like a serial dater, but like just the one person that I want to be connected with at that time. But like you said, some people are there to just have hookups, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are people that are just looking for companionship. Some people that are like, I just want to, hang out with a bunch of different people to see what it is that I want, because I'm not sure. So I think you're right. Having that early communication and being clear on saying that, then both parties saying that. And if one says, well, I just want to have a bunch of hookups, the other one's, I'm looking to get married, then that's not going to be a very good fit at all. So I think that's a really good point. Jose, any thoughts?
Well, you was talking about how you communicate with the other people, right? How we were saying before, it's not necessary go straight to, okay, I like this, you like this, I don't like this, and that, so we can connect it or we are not, right? Maybe because I am very friendly, I like to have a lot of friends, so because I am very loving. So, for example, I love you, I love Sonja because I met you before, but you guys, if we're talking one more time, I'm start loving you too. So that's what I am, right? So if I am dating with somebody because something click on me and start like something from her, and then for me, it's not fair that, okay, I don't like this thing from you, that I maybe don't work for a relationship, but we can be friends, right? So that was just my feeling, my lifestyle, right? And I always I am very positive. If somebody tell me, "Hey, how are you?" I'm tired. I go running far away. You know, I don't like that word. I know that a lot of people saying, right? Hey, how are you? Good morning. How are you? How are you? How you feel? I'm tired. Monday early in the morning. So I like to be positive, and then when you start saying something like negative, 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 well, I already know that that's not the conversation that I want for my life, right? So I'm start going a little bit far away, right? Running like a 200 miles, right? So I like to be positive all the time, even when you are in the wrong, in the very hard times. I try to take it out. It's very difficult, so because lately my mom passed away, and I talking with her every time that I driving for go to training. I talking with her FaceTime, and then I love her because she always told me, "Come on, I can see your face." Okay, I have to move my phone, and then now I miss that, right? So I'm, but this is very, very pain. But at the same time, I get more strong because I'm feeling like now I don't need to call her. I can still listen music and talk with her on the air, you know.
Yeah.
So try to take it out the positive of everything. And I know that some people, the people don't have a good days every time. Sometimes you have a bad days, but don't don't complain about that. But that's not gonna fix your day. Complaining makes more bad your day.
Yeah.
So
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I've had that too. I mean, someone's energy can come onto you. So if you have someone that's constantly negative, that's going to reflect on you. And that's really challenging. And I think, as everybody's watching or listening now or later, you have 6 very different perspectives of what people like, what they don't like, what they need and what they don't need, which again, everybody is super unique. So that's what I think I meant earlier. It's like you're trying to just find someone that gets that gets you, and that there is that romantic connection of some capacity as well. One of the other things, and Patty had talked about this and we wanted to bring it up to finish here, is that you also don't have to be dating and you don't have to be with someone. And I think that that's really important too, because there are a lot of people that feel like, well, I have to have somebody, especially during COVID. There's been a lot of loneliness. But I think it's really important to be able to do things on your own. I know for me, when I got divorced, relearning how to do stuff and do things on my own and feeling comfortable with that and enjoying that. That's important too. Patty, I'd love for you to talk about this because this was kind of something you wanted to bring up as well.
Well, and I think just as you say, I think we all, to me, at least in my life, you go through different times. And I've been in different marriages, but also different relationships. But, then there's times when it's just not happening, but that's okay as well. It's like, well, then there's a lot of other things and there's a lot of other people to do things with. And so I think I've also said to folks that, I have certainly been in love for many years, maybe, 25, 30, not all the same person, but doesn't mean that you can't, you can't meet folks and have different relationships at different times in your life. And, and all those different stages are good.
Yeah, I agree. Christian and Devin are here saying they love you, Patty. We know them as well. We love having you here as well. Janelle, thoughts on this too? Because you also, for those that don't know, when you got divorced, you went and traveled by yourself, which was this amazing experience for you. So I'd love for you to talk about this as well.
100% agree with what Patty just said. Like learning to be alone and being okay with being in your own thoughts. It's actually harder to do than most people, and most people would prefer not to. They'd rather cover the loneliness by finding that other relationship and covering it. And so when I got divorced, I decided I'm going to travel by myself, and I'm going to travel to a different country where I don't speak the language and I don't know anybody, and I'm just going to do it. Guess what? Best experience ever. And so, once I did that, it triggered other things where, I love to travel. That's actually a hard line for me. I don't think I can date anyone who doesn't like to travel. In fact, one of the questions I ask is, do you have a passport with a stamp in it that's at least 12 months old? But now it's pandemic, I give you 24 months. Because I love traveling so much, and I do it on my own for pleasure. This is not for business. This is not to meet family. This is, let's go to Google Flights and find the most affordable place I can go to there. What's that? I can't pronounce it. Let's go. That's how I travel. And I will go with or without someone. And so in order for me to be with someone and to be partnered, it has to be someone who's okay with that and would say, all right, let's go. Or be okay when I say, I'll see you later, because I'm heading on that plane. And it's, I think, being so comfortable in your own skin that the happiness you have comes from inside you, that I believe that's what's going to attract my partner. That I'm not looking for someone to be happy. I already am happy. So come be happy with me. And if you're not happy, just as Jose said, well, it's not going to work, is it? You might think I'm just too much energy, and I'm just going to be like, well, you're just a load of fun, aren't you? So those energies are definitely important. Being able to kind of pick up on where you are. I swear, I know I'm looking at the time.
You're good.
When I've been on the app and I've swiped and, I get a question. So what are you looking on for on here? And I sit there, I'm like, it's a dating app. And I can't help it. I usually say, I'm looking for the leprechaun. Did you find them? Like, have you seen them? Like, what do you mean? It's a date. I'm looking for my aunt. Like, I don't know. So I'm like, if you're asking me this question, I'm like, we can't have a conversation. We should be on the same plane about why we're both here. We're trying to meet somebody. So, and the difference might be, like, of course, it's, are you looking for a hookup? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? But if the question is just posed that way, I'm like, hey, this is just, it's just not going to happen. So, but being happy in your own skin, being happy alone, being happy with someone, if that source of joy comes from within, then you're like, it'd be nice to be in a relationship, but it's okay if you're not. Because that is not, the joy it doesn't lie outside of you. It's within you. And so I think that's where I am right now. I just have fun in the apps. Every so often I'll go and I'm like, oh, you are not 35. I know you're 60. You see those kind of things. You see those kind of things. Or, the 45-year-old, I'm like, I could be a mama's son. I know you're just trying to find a sugar mama. And you just like, it's like everything is out there. And at this point, it is what it is. It's a pandemic. You make your best judgment call on whether or not you want to use the dating app or not, or make TikTok videos and be yourself and maybe somebody will respond. Or, there's so many Zoom calls and meeting calls that there might be a meeting like this. And, someone's like, hey, you look kind of cute in that call. And you're like, oh, well.
That's why she got the backdrop and, you got to work.
Yeah.
I went red. Do you see? This is color love. Baby. You never know.
I have a passport.
Oh my God, I love it. John, what are your thoughts on this? Again, I think it's a little different for men, but I do think as we're talking about, it's important to, be able to, that it's okay. You don't have to be with someone, but it's nice to have someone. What are your thoughts?
What movie was it? Shall We Dance? Okay, we all know this when Richard Gere's wife, played by, I forgot her name, said to the detective, we all want to witness to each other's lives. I like that. And like for me, I am happy. I became happy when you're always be happy by yourself and to yourself. To me, there's a caveat on that. Like you can be, but I think in time, at least for me at my age or where I'm going, I don't want to be content with being happy just by myself. And that's what I'm afraid of. And I don't want that to happen. I still am out there. I'm seeing someone now. But when you're not seeing someone, I just don't want time to go on and enjoy my life when I'm okay with it. I don't want to be okay with that yet. So for me, I just want to make sure I'm still on the hunt. I would like someone to witness what I'm doing, and I want to be a witness to them, and then we can share these things together as well. And then we could have two people in the picture, not just one selfie by Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, which also kind of makes me think of like there's an element of being like, okay, I'm happy with where I'm at. I would like to have someone, but also not letting fear get in the way. Because I think that a lot of that happens too, where you're like, well, I'm happy. I don't need anything. I don't want any drama. I don't want any stuff. And I've had that myself. And coming over that fear and saying, well, wait, this could be a really great thing if two great people meet and come together. And I love how you just stated that, John. That's really nice. Sonja, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. You know, I'm content to be by myself. I would rather be by myself than be with the wrong person, or settle for someone just to say, okay, I'm not alone. You know, I have someone to do things with now. So yeah, I'm comfortable by myself, but I'm still searching for the right one.
I like it. Jose, you want to finish us out here? Thoughts on this?
Well, okay. So
besides the fact that you're going to go to Costco and have a passport.
Okay. I go to Costco. I go to Costco. I have a passport. I have a nice voice. All right. I taking care of people, and I can ask questions too. All right. So the only thing that I can say now is that I am very protective. So I lose myself a little bit. I try to not, but I'm losing a little bit myself, whether I want it, how I make me feel happy myself to taking care of the other person. So now it's time to ask you a question, because you like to somebody ask you a question, right, Kerry?
Sure,
so
go for it.
My question is how I am protective, and then sometimes the girls confuse that kind of protective with something that too much, or maybe you don't. The girls think that you feel that they are not enough to be able to do things, because you understand what I'm saying. So when I acting too much protective, the girls feel a little bit don't like that.
Like you're being protective of them, you mean? Or protective of yourself?
Oh, no, protective of them. Overprotective, maybe. So the girls don't like it. What about you? I'll interview you now.
I mean, again, everybody's going to be different. I think overprotective can mean also like there's a line sometimes of, especially for anyone that's been in a bad relationship or an abusive relationship, an element of control. So if somebody's saying, well, you can't go here, you can't do this, I don't want you, that's control. That's not good. If somebody's like, let me open the door for you, or let me help you with that, I think that's great. But I think some women they haven't experienced that, or they're so shocked by things like that they're like,
he's like, weird.
Yeah. Or like, what are you trying to do? Or sometimes, as women, there's this, strangeness of we have to be feminine, but we also have to be strong. And if you've been single or you've been divorced, you've also had to be, I don't want to say the man, but you've also had to have that masculine energy sometimes. And so for women, it's like, well, I can do it myself. Like, I don't need you to do that. And that's also sometimes a mechanism of just protecting ourselves because we don't want to get hurt again. So I think there's a lot of things in there. And I think that always goes back to communication of like, well, what is this person feeling? Do they feel like I'm being controlling? Do they feel like I'm, giving too much? And then you need to say like why you're trying to be protective. Like what's your reasoning and how do you protect? That's what I would say.
Do you think that tomorrow when I will be in Costco, should I say, listen, I'm very protective. This is my thing. What do you think about that? Don't do that. Don't do that. No controlling, yeah, no controlling. Right? But protective. So should I say that tomorrow?
Well, I think when you're at Costco, I think like you have to give an example. Like what, like how would you protect them? You know what I mean? Like if you stand on the side of the road where the cars come, or like, you're going to stand in front of them. Yeah.
This is one of the things we always walking on the side of the cars, and the girls is going inside to the road. This is one of the things. Open the door.
I had someone that because how sometimes you'll have some guys that will open the door and the girl goes in first. I had a date where the guy did the opposite, and he told me because in his culture, what if you got in a car and the car drove away with you? So he did it opposite. So I was like, it's interesting. Each culture is different in how they do things. So I think it always goes back to communication. We could talk about this forever. And I want to thank all of you for your time today. And I think, again, we all have very different opinions. I think if anything, for those watching and listening, is to realize that every person is different in the things that they want and need. And we have to communicate. But also that at the end of the day, like we all want to be cared for and heard and loved and respected. expected. It's the same theme in all the conversations that I have. So I thank you all for being here. I thought this was a really good conversation and a really nice mix. Again, thank you to our two men for being here, for powering through since the other men were a little afraid to be on. We appreciate you. And I look forward to talking more about this again in the future. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Carrie.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you, Carrie.
Thank you.